Welcome to On the Chain.
Somebody named Tom Emmer, who we had on the show once, but here's a little press conference he put together today.
Let's go to onthechain.io and search.
Good morning.
You'll find
Hope you all had a successful and restful August.
Hell yeah.
It's good to be back at the People's House, where House Republicans are ready to continue delivering on our promises to the American people.
Damn right.
One important aspect of our common sense agenda is actually protecting Americans' financial privacy.
Okay, right there, Jeff. You hooked me in protecting America's privacy. I was like, okay.
He came out strong, though. Came out strong. Yeah, he came out
all
excited.
Ears,
He's excited about coming back from vacation and protecting Americans' privacy. That's number one. There you go. What is he going to do? What are we going to do?
Particularly when it pertains to this lawless administrative state. That's why I reintroduced a bill yesterday called the Central Bank Digital Currency Anti-Surveillance State Act.
This is the greatest thing ever. You go like, wait a minute, Central Bank Digital Currency Anti-State Act. Oh my God, this lawless administration. Oh, this is just fantastic. This is great. I love when he comes out swinging for the hills. I got to hear this bit again, though. Let's hear this.
Play that one again. That was solid.
What's it called again?
CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency Anti-Surveillance State Act.
Yeah, called the Central Bank Digital Currency Anti-Surveillance State Act, which puts a check on unelected bureaucrats and ensures that the United States digital currency policy upholds our values of privacy, individual sovereignty, and free market competitiveness. Recent actions from the Biden administration have made it clear that they are not only itching to create a digital dollar, but they're willing to trade Americans' right to financial privacy for a surveillance-style CBDC. This bill ensures the future of crypto is in the hands of the American people.
Oh,
did you hear that? And he said he assures crypto is in the hands of the American people. It's amazing. It's amazing. I don't know if they're going to say this quote here. If not designed to be open, permissionless, and private, emulating cash, a government-issued CBDC is nothing more than a CCP-style surveillance tool that would be used to undermine the American way of life. Let's see if he says that.
Not the administrative state. By prohibiting the Federal Reserve from creating a tool with unfettered insight into Americans' financial data. If not open, permissionless, and private, like cash, a CBDC is nothing more than a CCP-style surveillance tool that can be weaponized to oppress the American way of life. We're not going to let that happen. Not on House Republicans' watch. And I want to thank the Financial Services Committee for considering our bill this month, and we're going to continue working to ensure that the digital economy is designed by Americans and emulates American values. And I return it to the...
By the people. You might have said by the people, for the people, Jeff, because that's really what it comes down to.
It's so strong. I mean, so strong what he had to say, coming out like that, knowing, there's definitely some power plays that are at move right now, with the, across the board, we're seeing a lot of strong attitude coming out in the battle, right? Like you said, it's a CCP style surveillance state currency that we're just referencing. And then on the other side, it's the freedom seeking, privacy supporting cryptocurrency, allow people to have full private control and sovereign and maintaining sovereign control. Interesting stuff. It's strong too, because you had some others from some other really strong statements, in response to what he had said here. Through anti-CBDC legislation, it's critical for safeguarding Americans' financial privacy in the face of potential surveillance, control, and political intimidation. We commend Congressman Emmer's sweeping bill to prohibit a CBDC issued both directly from the Fed to Americans and indirectly via banks or other intermediaries. All members of Congress should support this measure to protect individual liberty and prevent threats of government coercion through the financial sector. And that's Ryan Walker. This is really amazing. And I said that I didn't even read what he had said here, but two world visions for the future of digital currencies are in conflict. China and a central bank digital currency where government creates digital assets and surveils, spies, monitors, and restricts consumer behavior, versus American free market that enables private competition and protects consumer data, allows economic freedom, enables innovation, and encourages competition. Chip, that is what's at stake right now. Tom Emmer hit it out of the park. David McIntosh, the president, Club for Growth, that was his last statement that I read. This is probably bigger news than anything, to see the momentum and the fact, Chip, that the Financial Services Committee is sitting on this gold. This is gold, and there's actually those that are willing to discuss, and it's going to find its way in front of Congress.
But here's the thing. First of all, it's more symbolic to pass a bill like this, because the bottom line is that the House, which controls basically the purse strings and the spending, is the only body that can authorize a CBDC. But he's taken a different action where he's being more proactive, saying we're going to have an can't do this. Because again, it's more symbolic, because if the vote ever comes up, it never gets voted on, and they always vote it down. But doing an anti-surveillance act is sending a stronger message.
It is
to it's kind of funny. It's an interesting approach. I see so many bills. I'm like, well, that's covered in the Constitution. It's like, no, we have to have a bill that says, okay, that's part of the Constitution. A lot of times it's more for the messaging side.
If we come over here to decrypt.io in this beautiful article here, Gensler slams crypto markets as lawmakers raise questions about Bitcoin ETF. Right? I thought he was already put in his place. Chip wasn't Gensler put in his place over this whole thing?
Put in his place. Just release it already, moron.
That's so crazy, right? The banking subcommittee, what he needs to see in filing, So they were hammering him. Look at him with the hand motions again. This is the guy that they want to help. That Hester Peirce saying should be in charge of creating some guidelines for NFTs. All right, it's crazy. We look at this. Here he is. He continued to slam the crypto industry during a Senate hearing with lawmakers, but refused to give any hints on where regulators would go with the long list on Bitcoin spot exchange traded fund applications. Here, referring to a federal judge bombshell decision last month to side with Grayscale over the SEC, asked Gensler what the body needs to see in filing a spot ETF. Here, he scrutinized the crypto industry, consider diversifying with blah, blah, blah. Oh, what is this? An advertising. How'd the ad get right in the middle? I fell for that earlier. Gensler told the Senate Banking Committee Tuesday that the SEC was still reviewing the decision. We have multiple filings around Bitcoin exchange traded products. So it's not just the one you mentioned. He goes in, and then here's where he gets crazy. He kind of loses a little bit here. So he goes into, let's see here. Gensler today reiterated that he thought the industry was a wild west of non-compliance. It's a field which is rife with fraud, abuse, and misconduct.
And you're not going after any of it. You're going after Stoner Cat's NFT animated series.
Right. Yeah, this is who he's going after. So he says, under his watch, the top regulators cracked down hard on the digital asset industry, hitting major crypto brands like Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, and other lawsuits. So we see that. But his point is there's fraud, abuse, and misconduct. And he hasn't really come after those companies for fraud. There's really no companies that he's come after aggressively on fraud. But over the past 2 or 3 years, who they have come after for fraud? Let's see. Big banks. $500 million settlement puts Wall Street on notice. That was August 30th of 2023. A nearly $500 million settlement agreement by 4 investment banks over control of the stock loan market is prompting changes to bank practices and warning the industry to take antitrust violations more seriously. And, so we got that. Oh, wait. Bank of America, this was in July, pays $250 million for illegal fees and fake accounts. Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. Here's one from the Office of Public Affairs, U.S. Department of Justice. Wells Fargo agrees, this was 3 years ago, agrees to pay $3 billion to resolve criminal and civil investigations into sales practices involving the opening of millions of accounts without customer authorization. Oh, wait a minute. Here's another one. CFPB finds U.S. bank $37 million for illegally exploiting personal data to open sham accounts for unsuspecting customers. You
Must
see
be the
trend?
crypto industry is fraught with fraud.
It's fraught with all sorts of fraud. Here's one. Look at those cool shoes. TD Bank reaches $1.2 billion settlement in Ponzi scheme lawsuit. Now, that was in February. Oh, look who it is. Look at that. They're going to pay for alleging its involvement in infamous $7 billion Ponzi scheme orchestrated by disgraced financier Alan Stanford. That wasn't that long ago. Remember that happened? Here's another one. CFPB action to require Citizen Bank to pay $9 million penalty for unlawful credit card servicing. There were so many of them over the years, just in recent years. It's crazy. It's crazy how many penalties, fines for fake accounts and fraud and corruption and deception, deceptive business practices, all that. These are the banks that we trust, and we're putting our money in, and we're doing business with on a regular basis. We have business accounts, we have personal accounts, and then Gary the fraudster comes out, and and who does he attack? Who is he coming after? He's coming after crypto. He's coming after high kitties or whatever that was called.
Stoner cats, close enough.
Stoner cats. High kitties.
Sure, in the neighborhood, Jeff.
Well, I was close. Right? It's crazy. It's insane to say, but it's the way he says it. And what's her name over there? Elizabeth Warren, they're all so focused on the fact they make it sound like crypto is the only industry that has fraud. Not banking, not any other industry. But here they are, big banks, one after another, caught up in fraud and deceptive practice. But it's the crypto industry he's concerned with because it's the wild west of non-compliance. Wait a minute. There's rules and regulations over banks, and they're all committing fraud for non-compliance.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.